A very good evening to Professor. I'm Shaiful Alwi, student ID number 25110121. I'm presenting to you today my critical relations on strategy issue in digital marketing. I'm using Amway Malaysia as a case study. The focus of my analysis is how Amway manages the tension in its hybrid model, balancing the digital transformation with its traditional relationship-based selling approach. For your information, I worked in Amway before, but it was early in year 2000. I was leading the marketing team for Neutralite, one of the largest selling products for Amway. And then Amway Malaysia has been in the market for more than 40 years, I think, more than 40 years, from 1976. So it's almost 60, almost we call it almost 50 years already. So they're quite long-standing company, huge company, one of the largest in Malaysia still. So this is something quite unique because we know that Amway Malaysia has been predominantly direct selling approach, multi-level marketing, whereby we know that they are very much on personal relationship, trust and community building, networking building. So it's quite interesting to look into how the digital transformation that Amway Malaysia has put forward earlier in 2009, 2010 when I was there, and then what will be the impact on the sales, for example. So this is quite interesting because we know that digital marketing has reshaped the consumer behavior. The customers want more seamless online experiences, instant access to products, and definitely with the personalized recommendation. So for Amway, then the key challenge is how to integrate digital tools without losing the personal authenticity that makes direct selling works. This is quite interesting. So that's the reason why I choose this topic that we call it to highlight this tension then. So the strategy issue now will be Amway Malaysia from 1976 until year 2010 onwards. It started to adopt digital tools with mobile apps. They have revamped their websites. They connect it with mobile apps. They do online ordering, and then they have a lot of social media campaigns. So the core strategy issues will be with the digital platforms that we know it brings efficiency, automations and scalability, but will it actually marginalize the distributor or not? Because that will be the very heart of Amway business, because we know that for distributors, there's something that the automation, for example, the touch points when Amway goes into physical retail space. Amway was on one of the earliest marketing or direct selling company that do retail sales directly, and they start to open the physical store all over Malaysia. Then it will be like an issue where customers, which is not yet an ABO, the Amway business owner, they came into the shop, then they start, for example, they want to buy things or they want to become an individual independent distributor. This is where the conflict comes into the picture then. Who will get the distributor? Who will get the distributor? Because we know that Amway works both ways. One, through the normal channel of retailing, selling products, but more lucrative is via the commission, overriding commissions from building the network. So this is something that very common in multi-level business then. So the automation, for example, will it reduce personal trust or not? Okay, which has been the backbones of direct selling success. So the question now, how you do balance digital efficiency with human authenticity? So we look into few theories to understand this issue. We have a couple of theories that I'm looking at. First, the service domain logic that shows the value is co-created between Amway and its customers, but it overlooks the issues like unequal digital literacy among distributors then, because of the highly demographics differences, the generation gaps that Amway may have, for example, from the earlier generations until the current generations, Gen Alpha, Gen Y, Gen Z, for example, that may have different consumer behaviors and different literacy towards digital applications then. We also look into the technology acceptance model theory that explains why some distributors can embrace digital tools easily while others resist them. We also look at the customer journey and omni-channel theory that remind us that the customers want seamless experiences across online and offline touchpoints, and Amway struggles with fragmentation. And finally, the network effects theory that highlights the growth potential of digital communities, but also warns the trust that can weaken in purely online interactions then. So taken together, these theories show that there is no one-size-fits-all solutions. Amway needs a hybrid synthesis. So what we did, basically, I did a secondary research. We collected the annual reports for 10 years before Amway that is available on Amway website. Then we look into their digital journey initiative that they make from 2014 until 2024. Then we found that in 2016 Amway introduced the 24 hours, 7 days orderings and mobile enablement. And in 2020, all the industry faced the threat of COVID-19 pandemic. Digital platforms became the lifeline of the engagement with distributors, and Amway successfully managed to have a high sales that year. And by year 2021 to year 2022, more than 58% of the sales came from the e-commerce. Quite interesting. And more interestingly, in year 2024, despite stronger digital infrastructure invested by Amway Malaysia, sales revenue actually dropped by 13.6%. This is a very key takeaway. How digital transformation, it may build resilience, but it does not guarantee revenue growth. This is what you can see from the graph that I show on the slide. So for this reason, we want to look at the competitive landscape for Amway. So we use two ways to analyze it. First, from the Porter's 5 forces from digital context, and another one we use the comparative analysis, the comparative positions against the competitors for Amway. So by looking at Porter 5 forces, if you can see from the diagram that I put forward to you, then we know that Amway has a high threat in buyer power because customer can easily compare price online currently. It's also high threat of substitutes because there's a lot of cheaper alternative almost everywhere from across the world now, because it's easier to procure, to purchase any items anywhere in the world. As a matter of fact, we buy from China, for example, we can get the products within less than 5 days. So the rivalry is intense, the competition is very intense, not only from direct selling company, but also from the online, companies like Lazada, Shopee, and Watsons. And new entrants are moderate to high since digital lower barriers to entry, because of digital barriers to entry. And then supplier power is low to moderate because of Amway's vertical integrations. So overall, the digital landscape makes the industry much more competitive to survive. Amway's hybrid model must be more than efficiency. It must be a true differentiator. So the same goes to comparative positioning, to compare with Amway against the rest of other competitors. E-commerce, for example, Amway wins on the trust and lose on price and speed. The retail market, Watson and Guardian, for example, Amway offers deeper expertise but lacks of physical visibility. And against traditional direct selling organization like Elkin, it may have slightly an edge against them. So Amway positioning is very clear. It's very strong in trust and community, weaker in price and convenience. So this comes with the strategic recommendation. First, I thought that we can go towards the phased digital enablement, not just giving tools, but training of distributor to use it strategically. Use hybrid customer journey, integrating the digital and physical touch point. Then do authentic content supported by corporate guidelines. The compensation reform, look into possibility of giving compensation due to lead generation using digital transformation. empower the distributors with data analytics, and you can use emerging technologies like AI or augmented reality or video reality on blockchain to strengthen the trust and also engagement for immersive experience learning for the distributors as well as for the new, we call it new customers. So there's a limitation, of course, for in the future research that you may want to, that definitely we have for this study. I have very limited access to internal MA data, especially around distributor digital adoption. There's a lack of direct distributor perspective, interviews and surveys that could provide richer insights. It's also difficult to provide clear cause and effect between specific digital initiative. And finally, findings are specific to Malaysia, so if they can do a more generalized study or other markets, that'd be great. So in conclusions, Malaysia stands at a strategic crossroad. Its strength lies in trust, community, and product expertise. Its weakness is in price competitiveness and digital seamlessness. The strategic imperative is very clear, and we must blend digital efficiency with distributor authenticity. By doing so, it remains competitive in a crowded digital marketplace while staying true to human-centric values that build its success. Thank you.